Welcome to this week's Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson, and I'm here as always with Trade Martin and Bob Marks. This week's Harness Racing Alumni Show is sponsored by Winbak Farm Canada's newest staffing, Captain's Quarters. The son of Captain Treacherous is standing his first season with a stud fee of $5,000 Canadian. For more information or to book a breeding, call 905-838-2145 or email stallions@winbakfarm.com. Captain's Quarters. Also, the Meadowlands Racetrack. Visit playthemeadowlands.com. And Hunterton Farm, breeding champions year after year. Visit huntertonfarm.com.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your hosts, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
Before I introduce this week's guest, I just want to let everyone know that Larry Rolla is in the Bahamas for cancer treatment, and Joe Garino is collecting some money for him to help with some of the costs and stuff. And Joe can be reached at 845-313-4155. On this week's show, we have Standardbred owner and handicapper Scott Alberg. Scott, welcome to the Harness Racing Alumni Show.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Fred.
It's our pleasure. Scott, before I start talking about your stable, you do the handicap. You do the handicapping contest. Are you still continuing that this year?
Yeah, I've been doing it, at least a decade or so. And I really enjoy it because I get really good feedback from the people, and they really appreciate playing, and it's free, of course. So, yeah, I'm still doing it.
Okay. What type of prizes are you offering this year? I know you've put some nice prizes out, and you'd like to give a lot of candy away.
Yeah, we give a lot of candy away, sometimes cash prizes. Nothing more than $50, $100 per person in prizes. So it's not a lot, but it's just something to keep the interest of the harness racing community.
Do you have a new one running right now, Scott? Do you have a new one coming up, or what?
I will have one for this month of March. Probably, maybe even the Borgata, which is coming up at the end of the month. So maybe one of those races, perhaps.
Okay. So, Scott, now let's get back to the racing campaign for 2026. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We have a horse it's a 6-year-old named Bold Medley Jujon, who's racing in Australia now. It's a Sweetloo horse out of Kate Stephanie by Badlands Hanover, and it's a speed horse. And he loves racing on the front end. So we've been very successful with him in 2025 in Australia, and Thursday in Penrith we're going to race him on the half for the first time. But it's a 1.33 mile race over there. So, and he loves speed, so we're going to see if he can hold on. Very exciting horse.
And who are your partners on that horse?
I'm partners. It's a 50-50 split between myself and Gordon Banks, Mark Hanover. They're in Viro Stable. So we purchased them out of Australia, and we kept them in Australia. So see what happens there. As far as go ahead.
Any plans to bring them to the U.S.?
We were thinking about it. The thing is, it's like, I don't know, like $30,000 to ship him over, and then he's going to need time before he races again, and it's a costly thing to do. I often wondered why or how so many owners can afford to do it, and it's something we considered. But at this time, we're very happy racing him in Australia.
Is there a write-off for? Excuse me, Fred. Is there a write-off for that, for part of that, the shipping?
Certainly you can use it as a write-off. I mean, I've had so many write-offs in 30 years in this business because everything is a losing proposition. So, yeah, I mean, it's an expense, obviously. But
can you write it off? Can you write it off legitimately?
Yeah, of course. It's an expense. You're bringing your horse over. It's a horse racing expense. I hope I'm right. If I'm not, I'm in a lot of trouble.
No, not really. The IRS is not listening. But when my accountant says write off, I say right on. You know, that's so.
Yeah, I leave it to the accountant. I just show him my expenses and let him take care of that end of it. In the USA, we've got very excited. We've got Twisted Destiny coming back. Twisted Destiny will be a 4-year-old this year. He's a better wish out of Tug River Princess, who was a great mare. And last year he won $400,000 for us, so that was very exciting. I've never experienced that before. And we aimed really high with him this year. We've got him in the Borgata at Yonkers, starting, like I said, I think it's March 30th is the first leg. And it's anyone's guess if he can compete with the older horses. It's not easy for a 4-year-old to come back, a 3-year-old to come back as a 4-year-old and race against older horses, especially in the top division. So we'll see what he can do.
Okay. You have other horses, too. You have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, too, correct?
Correct. I do have a 2-year-old who is actually Twisted Destiny's sister. The horse's name is Blue Bayou. It's the same mare, Dam Tug River Princess, but the sire is Heston Blue Chip. And, we're hoping that she can race as a 2-year-old and maybe gain some valuable experience. That would be great. And our 3-year-old is a Toast of the Town. The horse, it's Sweet Lou out of New Year, and he made $100,000 last year as a 2-year-old. But he's up against the likes of Bojangles, so it's going to be very hard for him to compete at the top level. But we'll see what he can do.
Now you have only pacers. Are you interested in getting any trotters at all?
I've never had a trotter in 30 years as an owner, and I don't know why. I mean, that's where the big money is, but I get very nervous when I watch my horses race, and the possibility of a horse breaking, which is, a possibility, of course, with the trotters, it's just too nerve-wracking for me, so I have a tendency to stay with the pacers.
So you had a horse with Trade at one time, and that was a pacer? Trade. I thought you only handled trotters.
No. Listen, I know how to take care of a pacer too. But in fact, that's a really wild story. Remember we beat Walter Case in the stretch with our horse.
Exactly.
Yours, yeah.
That
night.
Trade is very modest, but what Trade did. I don't mind tooting your horn trained because you so deserve it. He took a horse that could barely get around the track, and he won back-to-back races with him, with his son as the driver in Monticello, and I think Alex Keviloff was the driver in Yonkers.
Yonkers, yeah.
And he took 4 seconds off his mark from Monticello to Yonkers, and you just Trade. You have magic in your veins. I'll never forget that.
It was easy. It was just that the horse just has to get the right conditioning and the right training. He qualified real good. Alex qualified him at the training track where they had qualifiers that day. Remember?
Maybe.
You weren't there that
Gateway,
day, but
Gateway.
Yeah, Gateway. Yeah, it was Gateway. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great. It was just so exhilarating because I didn't expect that horse to even make it to the races, and he made it. Then he won back-to-back races for Trade, and I was so happy. So again,
he had a big hole. He had a big hole in his ankle when I got him. He had like a real bad, big sore in his ankle. I mean, you can't race a horse like that. I had to cure that sore before I did anything else with him because he just kept opening up.
No one could believe it. No one could believe it. The former trainer said, "I don't even know how you got him around the track." So good job, Trade, and thank you. I'm sure I thanked you back then, but let me thank you again.
You did. Well, thank you. I'm glad I was able to help. Are you kidding? And the bill was right. The charge was right too, right?
Oh my goodness! I it was like going out to dinner. It was. I was like, Trade, you got to charge me more. It was. You were very, very generous, and I was very grateful to you. So thank you so much.
I like helping my friends. I helped a couple of guys like that, and I got help too by Larry Roller helped me with a couple of horses when I had to go away somewhere and I couldn't handle it, and my other friend Roscoe Rogers helped me with a horse when I had to go away, and listen, we have to try to help each other, I'm sure Freddie's done that too.
Yep. Talking about Roscoe Rogers, I'll tell you a funny story. I had won a race at Freehold, and I had bet the horse, and so all my cash, I had zero cash on me because I had bet everything on the horse. The horse won, and I gave whatever was left. I gave to the groom as a tip. And so I was meeting the guy who put the bet in at a bar across the street from Freehold. So I went over, and I bought a round of drinks for everyone, and the guy never showed up. And meanwhile, I don't have 10 cents on me, and this is before credit cards were available. And so I had to borrow money from Roscoe Rogers to pay my bar bill and to get home.
I think the last time I was here, I mentioned I started as an owner in the business in 1996, and I went all the way through 2024, 29 years without making a penny, a loss every single year. And this past year, 2025, I gave my tax information to my accountant, and he called me. He said, "Scott, something's wrong." I said, "Well, what's wrong?" He said, "You made a profit this year." He said, "It's the first time in 30 years you've ever made a profit." He said, "What happened?" I said, "I'm sorry, it was a mistake. It won't happen again." So it was a good feeling. I don't know if I can continue the streak, but just having 1 year where we made a profit after trying for 30 years, it was just such a good feeling.
Well, you're with some successful guys too. You're with Gordon Banks and his. How does his
cousin Mark?
His cousin is it cousin? Yeah. How is he?
Yeah.
Mark's good. Yeah, Mark's doing very well right now, and Gordon and Mark have been fantastic. I knew them, for the entire 30 years that I've been in the business. I met him early on, and Gordon. In fact, I raced against Gordon once at Dover, and we were teasing each other back then. They were a major company, that Enviro Stables, and I was just some schmuck with a horse. And so, and they hooked me up with, they introduced me to Eric and Lisa Cherry, who are just so kind, so generous. They didn't have to give me a piece of Twisted Destiny, and they offered it to me, and I couldn't be more grateful to them. So really a great team of Gordon Banks, Mark Hanover, and Eric and Lisa Cherry. I'm very, very grateful. I'm partners with them.
That's nice.
Right, and she does some really great meals, and she offers those to everyone that when you go down to Florida, you're invited over to the Cherry's house to join them for dinner. And she's like, she puts these meals together. They're just unbelievable.
She's like a professional chef. I mean, I don't think professional chefs have anything on her. I see what she puts out there, and it's just like I could eat it through the computer screen. It's amazing.
But, hey, Scott, one other thing. Now, you won the handicapping contest a few years back, correct?
In 2026, I won the National Harness Handicapping Champion, correct?
Okay. I was going to ask you if you're still doing the handicapping, and you just answered that question for me.
Yeah, no, I haven't done it in a while. I did win a few qualifiers as well. During the time I was competing, it was I got very lucky because I must have won like 3 or 4 years in a row with qualifiers and the national championship, and then I just stopped. I don't know why, and I've never gone to another contest again, but I really should get back into it. I enjoyed it, but a lot of it is I mean, we can all handicap, but a lot of it, you just have to be lucky to win those contests. You really do.
Yeah, Freddie, in one night, how many races did Bob win?
Well, he won 10.
Wow. That's
he picked the winners of 10 races one night. So.
That's like unheard of. It's incredible.
And that was in 1964. Never came out.
1964.
Wow, that is amazing, though. Bob, that's a big credit. Nobody does that.
Yeah, and back then I think they only had about 10 races a night, so maybe he hit them all.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's like he could be the only one to have ever done that. That's fantastic. Wow. He might have disconnected. I'm not sure.
Well, he's been having problems with his phone, so it goes in and out. So he might not be able to hear us. And
Maybe.
Or he might be talking and nothing's coming out. So, but anyhow.
Yeah, that's what it is. The phone is going on and off. Yeah.
All right. With that, I guess I'm going to close the show out. Scott, I want to thank you really, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. It was
I appreciate the invitation.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate the invitation. You guys are always so good that way. And when I get a call from you guys, I'm like, oh, good. I get to talk about something. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Any other announcements you want to make, Scott? While you're on, any other announcements you want to make?
No, just honestly, I really look forward to seeing your show, and whenever it's up online, I watch, I listen to it, and more people should really consider it. It's a fun show. You guys have a lot of good guests, and it's very entertaining. People should know more about the people in the business, and so I ask those who are listening to spread the word. The United States Harness Racing Alumni Association is really where it's at, and people should follow it.
Thank you, Scott. This week's Harness Racing Alumni Show is sponsored by Winbak Farm Canada's newest staffing, Captain's Quarters. The son of Captain Treacherous is standing his first season with a stud fee of $5,000 Canadian. For more information or to book a breeding, call 905-838-2145 or email stallions@winbakfarm.com. Captain's Quarters. Also, the Meadowlands Racetrack. Visit playthemeadowlands.com. And Hunterton Farm, breeding champions year after year. Visit huntertonfarm.com. That's a wrap for this week's show. Thanks for listening, and please join us again next week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show